across the platform. When you deal with music rights, you got to be very careful with paywalls, right? So at the time when we did have music and we had Flix, we decided to launch it without exclusive, just being able to monetize through Lab. Now, we're not implementing music the way we did it before. So the way we will implement in the future might allow us to bring exclusivity into Flix. And, as important as music is, I got to tell you, when you go into, negotiating deals, how you can use music, and especially, when it comes to UGC, it can get very muddy and, they want a big piece of everything. So you got to be very strategic business-wise with that. So that's the main reason why we don't have it. I hope we will in the future. I think it would be a great feature for sure. But I just at least wanted to explain you why we don't have it. Okay. A translation button comments in every vertical. You know what? That would be cool, especially with AI today. Those kind of things are much easier to implement than in the past. So I don't know if you guys have been playing with, translation through AI, like, ChatGPT 4.0. I have, and it's amazing. I actually, I traveled this summer. I went to Bosnia and Herzegovina, and one of my frustrations is always not being able to truly communicate with someone. I can always make myself understand with my hands and, a little bit of Spanish, Italian, and English. But I used actually ChatGPT 4.0, and it was amazing. I was able to speak to everyone. They were able to speak back to me. So, that's just an example of how AI could be implemented. And, we might be able to implement it in such a way in Fanbase as well. Okay. All right. Asking for a friend. Do we call it messages, DMs, back channel on Fanbase? Which is the correct term? So we call it DM, right? Now I know that the community sometimes call, like, for example, we never call the listing of all your rooms hallway. That came from you guys, believe it or not, and then we perceived it, but we called it DM, so I think that's what we call it. Now, what you guys might call it, you might change our opinion. Hi, Rama. Any idea when the ability to schedule a time for all your rooms in advance? Thanks. So I'll talk a little bit about Spring 100. Actually, that's a good question to go into Spring 100. So as we start Spring 100, we're obviously, as usual, working on a lot of things. I will start mentioning the one that is related to your question, which is recurring all your rooms on web. We are actually bringing a calendar-alike functionality on web, where you will be able to see all the recurring audio rooms that are happening in Fanbase. Now, while that's not the full scheduling functionality, it is an MVP way of you to be able to schedule your rooms. I'll tell you how. So number one is this web increment will allow you to show all the branded and public audio rooms that are happening every week consistently in Fanbase. Just a reminder, if you have an audio room that you have every week, or you're thinking about one, I encourage you to email the marketing team, marketing@fanbase.app, or let tech support know, so they can consider you for this, because at the end of the day, your recurring audio room is going to be featured. Now, that's on the front end of things. On the back end of things, if you are featured with your recurring audio room, every time you go and create an audio room, you will be able to reuse all the variables information from your room. In my example, I have to come and type the same name every Thursday before I start this room. Well, starting on Sprint 100, I won't have to do it anymore because my audio room is going to be part of that calendar. And then when I go into the app, I will be able to say, you know what, just put the same information, I might adjust it, and then boom, my audio room starts. So again, it's a super MVP way of eventually being able to schedule, but for those that are selected, it will save you a lot of time in creating these recurring audio rooms, okay? So hopefully answer your question. I'll continue talking about Sprint 100, and then we'll take another pause and answer any other questions or see if anyone wants to share any feedback. But Sprint 100 is a special one. I already mentioned why. 200 weeks of non-interrupted development, stress, roller coaster of emotions. I still remember back in the day when we went live for the first time with Android, because Fanbase was born as an iOS first platform, and then Android quickly caught up. Kudos to the Android team. I think they did an amazing job in catching up. And now, as you can see, every time we develop a feature, we do it for both. There's not even a question if it's Android or iOS. But, definitely those 200 weeks have been a learning and a roller coaster of emotions, but we're here and we're working on multiple things. First thing is we are already developing the new profile, what we call Profile 2.0. Profile 2.0 will allow not only a new look and feel that will allow you to have better visibility and a better way to present yourself to users that are going into your profile, but also you're going to be able to get new tools with that, such as being able to archive content, pin content. Also, this is the first step towards having multi-profiles in Fanbase. We definitely want to encourage and support, even though I think every user in Fanbase is a business, but those that have businesses and would like to have a business profile, eventually you will be able to do that with Profile 2.0. So even though we are focusing on the look and feel and some basic functionality, by the way, we're also bringing comps into the profile. So users will be able to see what comps you're part of. So as they see themselves identify with your great content and who you are, they'll be able to join the camps and being able to follow you and anyone else alike in that camp as well. So that's part of Profile 2.0. We are also, as I mentioned, we're doing upcoming rooms on web. We're also bringing audio on web hallway. So that means that any public or branded audio room now is going to be accessible to anyone, regardless if they have a Fanbase account or not. Right now, for anyone to be able to access to your audio conversation, either through web or through the app, you gotta share a link, or you gotta have someone sharing that link. Well, that's not the case anymore. Starting in Sprint 100, anyone that goes to fanbase.app and they want to see what's going on in Fanbase, what is Fanbase about, they'll be able to see the hallway and any public or branded audio rooms that is going on, join the conversation, and then hopefully eventually join Fanbase and Fanbase community. Okay, so hallway on web is coming up on Sprint 100. That's super, super exciting. We're also working on some comps improvements, small things such as being able to search for users within the camps, being able to share camps. Those are some of the improvements that we're going to be doing. Camps is an amazing way of building community in Fanbase. From the product side, we want to support that and we want to empower that. So you're going to see a lot of these small improvements that we think are going to help. We're going to continue evolving, training, improving the algorithm as well. That's part of every sprint pretty much. Just like we do bug fixing, we also work on the algorithm. And then we have other invisible things that we're doing. Some of them I can't quite yet share because just like I did with Lab on DM, I want to wait until closer to the release time before I tell you guys, because if not, I get you guys too excited and then you say that I don't have anything to update you on. So, I got to give you small things at a time. All right, so that's a little bit the summary of Sprint 100. And again, along Sprint 100, we're going to have a lot of great content about our journey, the product journey from day one to Sprint 100. We might have a Sprint 100 audio room party. I think we should, but I think we're going to do all of that towards the end of the sprint, once we get all these objectives achieved. Okay? All right. Let's go back into the chat room, see if there's any other questions. I know there were some, let's see, DMs. Okay, you're welcome. In the future, AI could even manipulate photos to change text in photos or censor specific parts. Oh yeah, I mean, AI is already, it's mind-blowing. We're also doing an AI project in parallel to find other ways that we can bring it into Fanbase. We do use AI already in Fanbase in certain places, especially in the algorithm as well. But yeah, the depth of things that you can do with AI are crazy. All right. Let me see. What was that email address? Sorry, Damon. I think I might have missed your initial question. Let me see. Let me go back. But let me know what email address are you referring to. Let's see. I cannot access my system update to PayPal. So still no? I actually did have a conversation with Fred, who's part of our tech support team, about you specifically. And we had some troubleshooting steps for you. I'm going to make sure I follow up again, because if I don't hear back, my assumption is that it's fixed. And so I'm wondering what happened there. But definitely there's something off that we need to fix for you there. So, all right. Let me see. Seeing some conversations with you. I would love to be able to organize posts into series. Like I have some cartoons that I don't want to mix with all my other posts. Yeah, definitely. So part of the archiving and pinning is part of what we call the tools that allows you to get things organized. Again, to us, the profile is a way for you to showcase yourself, showcase your content. So organizing them is something that we can definitely consider, and we'll get that in place. All right, let's see. Sorry, I'm trying to follow. Blog feature already restrict users with blog from seeing our profile in app, but not on the web. Well, the thing with web is that your profiles are public right now. And so unless the user is signed in, it's really hard for us to log that profile for the user. Now, in the future, with Profile 2.0, we are going to give you the chance of making a profile private. Now, when it comes to visibility and monetization, we don't really recommend that. We obviously want to respect privacy and everyone, but the more visibility you have, the more monetization opportunities you can have. But in the future, I can see in the roadmap the chance of having private and public profiles, even for anyone that doesn't have Fanbase. Okay. Build out embed code so people can share their rooms on their websites. So, Nolan, we actually are allowing that because that's part of branded audio rooms. Now, with branded audio rooms, we're piloting it. We're not opening it to everyone yet, meaning that, a brand or a partner would come to us and says, hey, I would like to partner with Fanbase in this way. Then we would deploy that branded audio room, and they would be able to put that in their website as well. That was the main concept of branded audio rooms. Now, in the future, I mentioned this, I think last Thursday, we are looking into how we can open branded audio rooms for everyone. Because like I said, to me, every user in Fanbase is their own business. So this doesn't have to be only for businesses, but it should be for every user. Okay. Implementing QR codes specific to our profiles will be done too. Yeah, I agree with that. We do generate QR codes for a lot of the efforts that we do, like for example, for the race, or even when we do user acquisition or user growth activations. But I agree with you that it would be very cool to allow you guys to generate QR codes from your profiles. It's not hard, to be honest. But again, with the many million things we have going on, we got to prioritize and choose our battles. So we hope we get to that sometime soon. Is the branding part of the ambassador program? So we talked about it. It could potentially be the ambassador program. We're starting with some small items. So that's why we're piloting. And then we want to grow it with more benefits and more things that we might ask from our ambassadors. And branded audio rooms is definitely can be one of those. All right. Let me see if there's anyone that wants to come up and ask any questions. No? Okay. All right. Let's talk a little bit about longer future, not near future. We talked about Spring 99, what we got done, and the new release. By the way, if you join late, make sure you update your app to the latest version, 3.2. We have a new release that came out yesterday that brings love on DM. Also brings improvements in the algorithms where you can get suggestions on content and also other bug fixing and performance improvements as well. So make sure you update to the latest. It's always great to be in the latest. And we also talked about Spring 100. We started today. We kickstarted today. So 2 weeks of more increments, features, improvements to come. Spring 100 means 200 weeks that we've been developing nonstop. We're super proud of that. And let's talk now about our roadmap. As we get close to the end of Q3 and the beginning of Q4, let's talk about some of the things that we still have outstanding for Q3. I will start with one that has been asked by most of you, which is Carousel. So we already started prototyping some adjustments on Carousel. We definitely wanted to get Carousel and broke that up in several phases because we want to get that to you guys as soon as possible. But we're hoping to still bring you guys Carousel before the end of Q3. So that's on track for sure. We'll definitely continue our web roadmap and bring some web increments within audio and also outside audio as well. Okay. In Q4, let me see, I'm looking through Q3. What else we have here? Q3, we're also going to be working on improving the blog feature as well. I always mention we have 6, really 7, because now DM, if you think about it, it's a content creation vertical because you can monetize it. So within the 6/7 content creation verticals that we have, the way users interact is different. So that means that the way you use blog functionality is different as well. So we are going to be revisiting the blog functionality and adjusting, improving it. So that's still in our roadmap for Q3. We're hoping to be able to put it for Q3. If not, for sure, will be beginning of Q4. We're also going to be improving our bot algorithm. And again, that's something that's going to be always ongoing, but we definitely want to take a deeper look at that and see how we can improve that. Let's see, what else? Sorry, I'm looking at the roadmap here in front of me. We do have a few surprises still that I cannot mention. I'm sorry, guys, don't hate me. Let me see. Sorry, I'm looking here. Well, obviously, I mentioned some CAMS improvements as well. That's on the way for Q3. But let's talk now about Q4 and some of the things that we might be tackling in Q4. We're still working on our objectives for Q4. And so please don't take me to a T. This might change. We're definitely going to, now that we have monetization in DM, we want to see if we can do some improvements, some quick improvements in DM as well. Okay, so we'll have that. We're also going to be looking into, or continue looking into, new experiences, potentially into the sign-up process. We want to improve that. We see a lot of users downloading Fanbase, a lot of them signing up, but just like every platform, we see room for improvement. We see, some people that fall within the sign-up process. So we want to start improving that and giving actually more ways to sign up to Fanbase. So we're looking into the sign-up process for Q4 as well. We do have a few surprises. Sorry, I'm seeing so many cool stuff here, but I can't just say, guys, don't hate me. We're hoping, depending on the progress of Profile 2.0, we're hoping to be able to deploy the multi-profile functionality in Q4, potentially. Let me see what else we have. Oh, well, sorry, I didn't mention it, but we are refining RTMP. We haven't forgotten about that, guys. Just RTMP is such a unique and special feature that we don't want to just bring the same RTMP that you're seeing everywhere else. We actually want to do it differently here in Fanbase. So we are taking longer to define some of the business and differentiation requirements for RTMP, but we're still working on that. That's still in the roadmap. So the proof of concept will happen. If you are interested in being a beta tester for any future functionality, call it RTMP, Profile 2.0, and so on, please make sure you contact tech support and let them know about it. Now, if you are an investor and you invested more than $600, you are already part of that list. So by default, those investors that invested at least $600 are part of our beta list, and you get to play around, provide feedback with features before anyone else. But still, we would like to consider those that might not be investors and are interested in helping. So please contact support, and they'll be able to add you to a list, and we'll be reaching out. Okay. All right. I don't think I missed anything. There's thousands of features that I have here in front of us. And again, things can change at any time, but for good reasons. We are in the middle of a Regulation A race. It's a race where we're trying to bring $17 million that will allow us to grow Fanbase exponentially. When I say grow Fanbase exponentially, product is a big part of that. So product development, how we make it even more scalable, how much quicker and better we can start developing some of these functionalities. That also depends on how quickly we can raise the money, because we actually do have a lot of ways growing, obviously, the team, but also growing architecture or improving architecture, automation as well, among others. So, if you haven't checked out the Start Engine investment page, I encourage you to do it. It's right on top of me, startengine.com/fanbase. Go and check it out. If you have any questions, every Tuesday at 5 p.m., Isaac and myself, we have our Town Hall Tuesday where we talked about specifically on the race and what are we trying to achieve with it. So if you have any questions, that's a perfect space for you to come and bring them as well. Okay? But yeah, the better we're doing the race, the better chance that all of these features that I'm talking about, we might be able to expedite them and bring them sooner than later. Okay. All right. Wow, I see a lot of links in the chat room. Let me see. I see Nolan, you're on fire today. Best way for website analytics is to release a WordPress plugin that ties into Google Analytics and ties Firebase API. Well, we actually we do have insights across all our platforms, in-app and web. We actually do use analytics. We don't use WordPress. We actually do use WordPress from some of the satellites page, but we don't use WordPress in our core technologies, as you know. But we use analytics, and we keep track of everything. And we're hoping with time, some of these insights we're going to be able to give them to you, so you can make better decisions when you create content. Okay. Hey, Raman. I'm loving the new algorithm at DM Labs. Awesome. I'm very glad to hear that. Rama, how many do you have on your tech team? Can we see some tech team content? Yeah, definitely. So overall, in what I call the product team, we are, I want to say, around 23, 24. I got to look at the exact number, but I will tell you the product team is composed of, we have analysts, the ones that define all the business requirements, and they create what we call the user stories. What is the feature going to be having, and what is going to be involving? And then we have the UX UI team that works with both the development team and the analysts to give a look and feel to every feature that we do. So we prototype absolutely everything. I think we have thousands of prototypes of the Fanbase product, but we also document everything, and the analysts help with that as well. We have also, a Scrum Master that helps to coordinate and facilitate everything in the sprints. It's not easy because we have a lot of developers. So making sure that everyone is, doing everything on time and there's nothing being missed. So having someone that it's a Scrum Master, which is a coordinator, project manager alike, is definitely part of our team as well. Then we have obviously our developers. We have Android, iOS, web, and API/backend. So there's different skill sets. And then we have as well our QA team that helps automate and test a lot of the use cases after or during the development as well. And I also consider our tech support team as part of our product team because they're part of the life cycle. They're the ones who tell us when something is, there's a lot of reports on something that is wrong, or, they even contribute in the refining of features as well. So it's a lot of them. Definitely, I want to give them more exposure. I think Spring 100 is a perfect excuse to show some content from them. So we're definitely going to be pushing towards that. And I love that you asked that because some of the product team members are in this audio room. So, for them to listen to that, that's definitely a good thing. Multi-profile view will help and comes, definitely. Let me see. I see some of you. Do you send out emails to investors about testing features? How do we know what features we can test? Yes, but I'm going to be honest. We haven't done a very good job in involving beta testers, but for good reasons. Sometimes we move so fast, and where we are and the industry requires us to deploy things at a certain time that we don't get the chance to enable it for beta testers. But that's changing, and I can promise you that because we already put some new processes in place where we might delay some releases, okay? But for good reasons, meaning we are going to start involving both investors and beta testers more in functionality before we go live. I think that's a win-win for everyone. I know you guys are dying to be the first ones to get your hands on, but for us, it's going to be a win because we're going to get feedback before it goes live, and there's multiple ways we're going to be doing that. But we'll definitely communicate and we'll do better on that. So, JC, you definitely going to be hearing more and more on that. Okay. Question. I have multiple profiles and niche on the popular social media networks. I want to consolidate my content on Fanbase. How can I segregate? So it's a good question, right? So I'm assuming, but I'm going to still mention it just in case for those that don't know. Number one is in Fanbase, we have a migrator tool. If you go to your profile and then you go to settings, you're going to see that you can migrate up to 1,000 pieces of content from TikTok and Instagram. So number one is, I know that it's super hard to start from scratch. And what we did is we created this tool so you can actually bring all your content, all your profile descriptions, and even your profile image over to Fanbase. So you don't start from scratch. That's number one. Right? Now, that covers, content such as, short form, long form, images. Now, when it comes to other topologies or other type of contents, we don't have that yet, okay? But migrating is a great way to do it. And also, a lot of times you're going to hear Isaac or even myself say, you know what? Even though we think Fanbase is different and special and it's great, we're not necessarily asking you to just completely leave your other social media networks. We're encouraging you to leverage all the work that you put in building those networks to slowly start bringing them to Fanbase. What is the best way to do that? Is to let them know that you have a profile in Fanbase, share your profile, put your Fanbase profile or your best content in your link aggregators, such as Linktree. That's another way to bring people over. And post content on other social media about Fanbase or share it there. That's a way to start transitioning people over Fanbase. I can guarantee you that with the same or even much less audience, if you haven't monetized in other platforms, you will start monetizing in Fanbase, guaranteed. So even though there's no like one push of a button to migrate all your followers and everyone over, there are steps that you can take. Migrate your content through our tool migrator. Make sure you add Fanbase into your link aggregator, and then keep posting on other social medias. Tell them about Fanbase. And that's a great way to migrate over. Okay. Now, once you come on over Fanbase, how you can segment your different ones, camps could be a great way. So when we bring Profile 2.0, imagining within your profile, you have two camps. One camp that is geared towards your, gaming. Another one might be geared towards music, right? So there will be ways to have your micro or macro community separated as well. Okay. All right. Let's see. Teamwork makes the dream work. You bet. I'm so grateful for everyone that we have at Fanbase around. It wouldn't be impossible to do it alone. So, coming from Sprint 0 to Sprint 100 as an investor, I couldn't be more happy with Fanbase. I have some investments still on Sprint 0. That's awesome. Makes me so happy. No, and you know what? We need more of these things and these testimonials, because we need to let the world know. Sometimes people hear that we say, you know what, like, invest in Fanbase because Fanbase is different because XYZ. We have investors that have made their money back and everything, but when it comes from the investors themselves, there's nothing more powerful than that. So if you are an investor here in the audio room, I'm asking you, encourage you to please reach out to us, and so you can help us spread the word about Fanbase as well, because you are the most powerful voice that we have to let other people know about Fanbase and continue progressing in the race. So please reach out to us. You can email the marketing team at marketing@fanbase.app. You can reach out to tech support. If you want to DM me, I don't care, but please reach out if you're willing to give your testimony as a Fanbase investor, because nothing speaks better than yourself. All right. And let me see. I know we're 3 minutes away, but there's still a lot of questions, and I want to make sure I answer all of them. Will I ever be able to use the tool to automatically pull posts from other platforms more than once? You know what? Yes, we will be able to, and we can. So you know the depth and complexity of what we do. Not only every vertical, it's its own world that requires a lot of manpower, skill set, and time to develop and improve. But things such as our migration tool is also a world of its own. There's a million things that we can do with the migration tool. By the way, it's patent pending. We submitted a patent a long time ago for it. But one of the things that I know for a fact with how technical I am is that we can make that recurring, meaning that as long as you still have your information as we ask you to have it to migrate, we'll be able to migrate that constantly, okay? But we don't have it yet. And the reason why we don't have it is because we don't have yet the time and resources to be able to do it. So if you want it, like I always say, help us keep raising money because we definitely want to bring that over, and so you don't have to remigrate manually every time. Okay? All right. Rama, can you speak on the ambassador program? There's a lot of speculation surrounding how it's going to work. Well, it's not my place. Teamwork makes the dream work. And if I would be doing everything in Fanbase, I don't think we'll be halfway where we are. So I think the best person to talk about that is the marketing team. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to encourage the marketing team for next Wednesday to be more precise on the ambassador program. And I apologize if there's a lot of speculations because there shouldn't be. It should be pretty straightforward. We are starting small, guys. So we're not going to have this amazing, huge ambassador program that we're going to ask you for like 1,000 things. We want to grow step by step with you. So the ambassador program is going to be a pilot program. But still, I think you guys ought to know what that's going to include. And so I'll reach out to the marketing team and make sure they do that. Okay? All right. Marketing team is down, yeah. We didn't talk about scheduling posts, but I did talk about the increment that is coming up at the end of Sprint 100, which is the sprint, which is recurring audio rooms on web. So we will have a calendar that you're going to be able to see all the recurring audio rooms, and those that get selected to be part of that calendar will be able to reuse the information when they create the rooms in the app. So, but we didn't talk about scheduling yet. The full scheduling, which is a huge, valuable increment, we're not there yet. All right. You're welcome, guys. All right, so it's 6 o'clock on the dot. I know there's probably a lot of questions, a lot of doubts, but hopefully, I covered most of the things that I believe to be important. Super excited with the release from yesterday, 3.2 for both iOS and Android. Make sure you download. We're starting Sprint 100, 200 weeks of constant development, many more sprints to come. And I encourage everyone to spread the word about Fanbase. Also, the fact that we are doing a crowdfunding raise for $17 million that will allow us to get better and do things better and grow our audience and our product. So I encourage everyone to do that. If you are an investor, please reach out to us. We want you to share how you feel about Fanbase. Even if it's not a good feeling, we want to know about it. We want to see how we can make it right. And every Thursday at 5 p.m., I'll be here no matter where I am. So I hope to talk to you guys again next week. And I appreciate everyone, and we'll be talking very soon. All right, guys. Have a fantastic rest of the week. Take care. Bye-bye.
Thanks for listening. Bye for now.